a man and a woman came to you and said, I want to lose weight,
Mhm.
they said, I'm 200 pounds and I'd like to lose some weight, would you give them different advice on what to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely would. And it comes down to a lot of, we see this on social media all the time, calories in, calories out, right? So when we're looking at calories in, calories out, that idea of that algorithm can work well in men. And the reason for that is the hypothalamus. So if we're looking at the hypothalamus, which is an area in the brain that controls appetite, it also controls our endocrine system. So for men, they don't have as many of what we call our kisspeptin neurons activated. So this is neurons that are responsible for when we have nutrients coming in, they fire, they're like, yeah, okay, we got enough nutrition coming in that we can now accommodate for developing muscle and losing body fat. For women, we have more areas that are very sensitive
Sensitive
to nutrient density. So when I say this, when we're talking about 4 grams of carbohydrate that come in, and say they're carbohydrate from fruit and veg, not from ultra processed stuff, those 4 grams of carb will affect the bodies differently between being a man and a woman. For a man, those 4 grams of carb coming in primarily will go blood sugar and then be stored as liver muscle glycogen. For women, it's blood sugar. It doesn't get stored because for women, in order to store muscle and liver glycogen, you have to have an activation of some enzymes from the liver, as well as some enzymes within the skeletal muscle itself to say, yeah, okay, we want to store this. We don't want to circulate it. So then we start looking at how the brain is perceiving that. So if the brain is saying, yeah, we can store this because there's still enough muscle tissue around, there's still enough blood glucose that we can keep going and we can survive the day. But for women, it sits there, the blood glucose sits there. And when it starts being used, the hypothalamus is like, okay, where's the extra food that's coming in so we can keep going and countering the stress that's coming in? And the best way from a numbers perspective to look at it is when we are looking at baseline calorie intake just to exist and not get into any kind of endocrine or hormone dysfunction and appetite dysfunction. For men, it's 15 calories per kilogram of fat-free mass. For women, it's 30. So we start to see men do really well on things like fasted training. We see men do really well on calorie restriction because the hypothalamus is not as sensitive to lower calorie intake or to low carb intake or to high protein and high fat intake. But for women, because the hypothalamus has more areas that are sensitive to nutrient density,